Thank you so much for joining us. This is a little bit of a celebration. So we're talking today about ways to reframe social emotional learning in any classroom. I'm Amanda Stedke, Vice President of Product at Zaner-Bloser, and I am so pleased to be joined by social emotional learning experts, Dr. Ernest Morrell, the Coyle Professor of Literacy Education and Director of the Center for Literacy Education at the University of Notre Dame, and Pam Allyn, a leading literacy expert, author, activist, and advocate for children, as well as a motivational speaker. We're talking about celebration and how that's such an important aspect of social emotional learning. And Dr. Morrell, could you share a little bit on your thoughts on what celebration and delight can look like in the classroom and why it's so important?
Sure. Thank you, Amanda. Hi, Pam. It's great to be with you. It's great to be with you all. We'll start with the second part, like why it's important to have celebration in the classroom. I think about joy when I think about celebration. And what does joy mean? Joy means fulfillment. Joy means accomplishment. Joy means something positive, right? That I'm headed in the right direction. What are we up against in the classrooms? I think that the biggest challenge we face in the classroom is low confidence. Students not feeling like they're up to the task. Celebration kind of turns that on its head, right? Learning is going to be joyful. This isn't going to be a stressful environment. We don't have to have stress to have success. And we want to celebrate success. It can be impromptu. It can happen anytime. It can be, applauding a presentation that a student does. It can be smiling and laughing when the student who's quiet tells like his first joke in class, right? It can be the teacher stopping saying, that was an amazing discussion. Or it can be more formal. If we all do our independent reading and, after everyone kind of presents on their books, we're going to have a big party, and it could be just putting up people's, work on the wall or recapping what our favorite moments were. But I love the word you use, delight. What if every student left class with a feeling of delight and a feeling of inspiration? We shouldn't be selfish with that, right? We should be effusive in our praise. We should allow students to praise each other. And we should just celebrate being together and learning together and the brilliance that is a part of our classroom community.
That's so powerful. And, the thing about it is what you said, Ernest, we talk about joy and we always put this word serious in front of joy, that joy is such serious, important work. And I think in social emotional learning, we value social emotional learning as educators, but then when we go to celebrate or measure success or have an end of year or end of something celebration, my observation as an educator is it often ends up being around academics and you did well on the test, or wow, you got an A, or you got those points, whereas if we're really going to prioritize social emotional learning, then we have to prioritize delight, to that great word that Amanda said. That is really what we can also celebrate. That we can also actually evaluate that. Ernest, you and I have done this in our work. We've said, let's actually really look at social emotional development and say, how can we celebrate friendship? How can we celebrate confidence? How can we celebrate courage? That small step, as you earlier said, the child takes that small step. And the small step might be, I made a friend at recess today, or the small step in social emotional learning, like you said, might be the quiet voice, or maybe it's the child who for the first time is actually leaning in as a deep listener. So all of those things, we can celebrate the social emotional growth of our kids, but really for us to take a look at that and say, are we celebrating that in a balanced way to all the other academic celebration we have? That's the question.
And such an important part of our work. We want to celebrate both of you for sharing your expertise and the positive impact that you're making with us. Thank you. We actually have more actionable ways that you can continue to reframe joyful learning in your classroom and some examples on ways to celebrate, including some affirmation cards available in the Joyful Beginnings PDF download on our Zaner-Bloser website, and additional SEL videos with Pam and Ernest. So please feel free to check it out, download the information, and we'll look forward to hearing more about your celebrations. Thanks all.